There is a man speaking to you from beneath the floorboards of society. Not from prison, not from exile, not from some grand battlefield, but from a room. A cramped room. A rented room, thick with memory, wounded pride, and thought. This man is 40 years old, a retired civil servant, alone. I am a sick man. I am a spiteful man. And I am an unattractive man. This is not an introduction. It is a declaration of allegiance. He has become loyal to his own misery. Dostoyevsky gives us a character intelligent enough to expose himself, yet too proud to change. He wounds himself first, so that no one else can claim the right. And then he tells us how life becomes underground. He speaks of reason, of free will, resentment, and consciousness. But eventually philosophy becomes memory, and there is one humiliation this man cannot release from his memory. An officer in a tavern once moved him aside. No insult, no speech, no fist fight, just a hand on the shoulder, the casual movement of an obstacle. To the officer, it meant nothing. To the underground man, it becomes everything, because the deepest insult was not violence, it was invisibility. He was not worth hating, he was not worth noticing, not even worth contempt. Just furniture in another better man's path. So he obsesses. For years. He imagines revenge, practices dignity, saves money for better clothing, plans the exact street where they will meet again. He does not want to hurt the officer. He wants to be acknowledged. That is what pride often disguises, a desperate hunger to be seen. Finally, he walks directly towards him, shoulder to shoulder, and the collision happens. No apology, no dramatic recognition, no transformation. The officer barely notices, yet the underground man treats it like a conquest. This is what happens when life becomes too small. Tiny moments must carry the weight of destiny. Then comes the dinner party. A farewell gathering for an old schoolmate Zherkov. The underground man invites himself where he was never wanted. Why go? Because resentment still longs for acceptance. He despises these men, their confidence, their simplicity, their easy movement through life. But he wants what they possess. Belonging without analysis, energy without paralysis, the ability to be foolish and continue living. At dinner, everything goes wrong. He arrives awkwardly, speaks with some form of forced superiority, insults people badly, waits to be admired, and is instead ignored. And nothing wounds the vein more than indifference. He paces the room while they talk, burns with speeches that no one has asked for, turns every silence into evidence of persecution. They are crude men, yes, but they are alive. The underground man, by contrast, is trapped in performance. He simply cannot be present. Every moment must confirm his importance or deepen his grievances. When they have left for the brothel, he follows not from desire, from humiliation. He cannot bear to be excluded a second time, and even this pursuit begins with another humiliation. He has no money. So he must turn to Apollon, his servant, the man he tries to command but secretly resents depending on. Before the night even truly begins, he is already indebted to someone he wishes to feel above. This is the hidden pattern of his life. He craves superiority while relying on those he despises. So he chases them into the night, driven less by lust than by wounded pride. The brothel is where his mask briefly slips. There he meets Liza, young, poor, already being consumed by a world that treats people as disposable. For the first time, the man speaks with genuine force. He tells her what awaits. You are young now, pretty, fresh. You're valued for that, but it won't last long. He tells her beauty is rented, youth is temporary, and the world that profits from her now will discard her without ceremony. He says, you'll grow older, you'll be sick, you'll be turned out, he says. No rescue, no gratitude, no final tenderness, only replacement. They'll throw you out when you're no longer wanted. Then he speaks of something deeper than poverty. He speaks of dying alone, of being forgotten, of no one grieving sincerely, of a life spent in rooms where bodies are bought but no one is known. And beneath the harshness is this plea. Leave before the world convinces you this is all you deserve. This is why the passage is so powerful. He's cruel but compassionate, honest yet theatrical, trying to save her while also performing his own depth. And this is the tragedy of the underground man. Even when he reaches towards another person, he wounds them in the process, and yet his words reach her. Liza later comes to his apartment. This is the great test of the novel. The world has brought the man what he claims to desire: human connection, compassion, the chance to matter to another person. And he panics, because fantasy is safer than reality. In fantasy, he is wise, tragic, misunderstood, when in reality he is poor, frightened, petty, and ashamed. Liza's presence threatens the story he tells about himself, so he becomes cruel again. He mocks her, pushes her away, attempts to dominate the very person who offered him tenderness. Why would the man sabotage himself again after given another chance for some connection? Because many people would rather destroy intimacy than risk needing it. To be loved is to lose certain defenses, and to be cared for is to surrender the identity built from suffering. Then something devastating happens. Liza responds with compassion. Not revenge, not contempt, but compassion. And he breaks. Because hatred, he understands, kindness exposes him. It reveals that beneath the intelligence, beneath the speeches, beneath the spite, there is only a man terrified of being ordinary and terrified of being known. This is why Notes from Underground still feels modern. The officer is every old humiliation we replay for years. The dinner party is every room where insecurity turns social life into warfare. The brothel is every attempt to heal shame through domination. And Liza is every chance at connection we sabotage because it asks too much honesty. The underground man is not just a character, he's a temptation to overthink instead of act, to resent instead of risk, to critique instead of create, to reject before being rejected. So what is the escape? Not less intelligence, it's more courage. The courage to be seen without performance, to act without guarantees, to love without superiority, to fail without building a philosophy from it. The opposite of the underground man is not stupidity, it is participation. To love without certainty, to build before mastery, to speak before perfect wording, to live before complete understanding. Because if you wait to become invulnerable before entering life, you just might die underground.